how fast Emerson Fittipaldi was running at the end. He ran the fastest lap in the race at lap 197 and then topped it on lap 198 at 2:14 plus, which at that point was about 3 miles an hour faster than Lyondike was running behind him in second place.
I was not shocked to see this Penske car dominate the closing stages, and as the race unfolded he got stronger and stronger, because all along I have believed this is the best chassis here. What would happen if you put a Ford engine into this? Because I do believe the Ford engine is faster than the Chevrolet at the moment.
The Penske Ford would be most amazing, but a guy who's very happy with the Penske Chevy combination today is the winner. Emerson Fittipaldi. He's standing by live with Dick Ray on the west side. Richard?
All right, Mark, the celebration has moved from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to Emerson Fittipaldi's home here on the west side of Indianapolis, and he's been listening with interest to the comments of Derek Daly and Robin Miller. And Emerson, I would suspect you would think that was probably one of the greatest races of all time.
Well, I think it was a great race. It was, you know, like Robin said, it was difficult to pass traffic, to overtake people half distance. Sometimes there was a group of cars, you could move ahead, you lose the downforce on the front wings, you had only one groove, you had to control yourself, you have to be patient, and but at the end of the race I would say the last 20 laps was very aggressive. I think was a big challenge for Nigel, for Nari. I think it was, you know, the last 20 laps was great.
They brought up the standpoint of the Fords. They seem to be the dominant setup, and here you come, and you just blew everybody away there. Where did all that come from?
Well, we had a very good setup on the car. During the race, I didn't touch the car the whole race. The only thing I done was before the 20 laps to go, when we had the yellow, I softened the front bar to gain more grip in the front and to put the car on neutral. I knew I was going to take a risk, but I knew I was going to get speed, and that speed was important for the rest of the race. And the car was neutral but well balanced and was fast.
I know Derek and Robin would like to ask you a couple of questions back at our race control, so gentlemen, go ahead and fire away a question if you want. Emerson can hear you.
Well, Emmo, I guess we were really surprised to see that you had so much power at the end of the race. Is it a fallacy to think that you had that power the whole race and didn't use it and tuned up the boost at the end?
Well, it looks like what happened on I think, if I'm not wrong, on the third pit stop. I come in when I was right behind Mario, in second place, very close to Mario. I was already catching Mario. And when I come in, I was at the pit and the yellow went on. And I just about lost a lap. And when I went out of the pit, Mario was right behind me, just to lap me. And I dropped to 11th or 12th place. And I think that's what people realized, that suddenly I was in 12th place, but it took me long. I struggled a lot to go back again to the leaders, and the car was running strong the whole race. I was giving myself 100% and using 100% of the equipment as much as I could the whole race.
Emerson, Ari Lyondike said afterwards that he didn't have the wrong engine, you just had the right chassis.
Well, I think the engine was very good, and my chassis was very well balanced at the end of the race. I had the best set of tires. We saved for the last pit stop. I knew the car would be very well balanced, and you know, everything worked behind me. Everything, the team was good. The pit stops were great, except one I missed. I was trying to find neutral and look in the dashboard, and I just about to stop in Roberto Guerrero pit, and then I realized I was in the wrong one.
Very much, Emerson. Congratulations, and truly one of the world's greatest race drivers, your second victory today, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks for all the support and all the fans here in Indianapolis.
All right, thanks very much. Emerson Fittipaldi, the second win at Indianapolis, and Derek, as if we didn't already know it, he's one of the world's greatest drivers.
There's no doubt. I mean, his talent when he was in Formula One, remember, he was one of the youngest drivers ever to win the Formula One World Championship. I think he was 23 when he went there. Totally lost his motivation for Formula One in the early 80s and said, that's it, I'm finished. Came over here and found a totally new career that motivated him. That is the key. And he enjoys his racing now probably more than he did when he was in the rough and tough and hustle and bustle of Formula One.
You've seen the finish first here on Wish TV. Coming up, we'll recap the entire race, starting with lap 1 through lap 50, so stay with us more of First at the Finish on Wish TV.
Sometimes I wish I could have been a grandmother to my own kids. Grandmothers don't get back talk. We get hugs. We tell stories, give out lollipops. And when you're a grandmother, you've got time for an uninterrupted cup of coffee.
It's nice to have the time to appreciate the smooth, rich taste of Sanka coffee.
And after the little ones give me all that joy, they go home.
Sanka, everything you love about coffee.
Remember your first project? Furrow knows that feeling. Like the first time you hammered a nail in, straight. The smell of fresh cut wood. The thickness of pure white paint. It all starts at Furrow, where we've been helping you with your projects for over 60 years. With quality products and low prices from people who know what they sell. When your next project rolls around, it's Furrow. We work to make your job easier.
Little things slowing you down? You're looking at highly magnified intake valve deposits. Even tiny deposits like this can rob your car's power and performance. That's why Shell is introducing its cleanest gasoline ever, Formula Shell. All 3 grades reduce harmful deposits other gasolines can leave behind. Formula Shell, a very big reason to go with the world's best-selling gasoline. Shell, miles ahead.
Seeing more than one doctor or taking more than one medication, you need to be aware of potential drug interactions. OSCO can help. Our computer alerts your OSCO pharmacist so we can discuss it with your doctor whenever there's a possible drug interaction. Count on OSCO.
At OSCO, you can count on people who care.
Back on this special edition of Speedway Today, first at the finish, and it's time to look at the beginning of the greatest spectacle in racing today, the 77th running of the Indianapolis 500, and surprisingly, really, Derek, to a lot of experts, Raul Boesel comes out of the gate first.
And look how far behind Mario Andretti is, the experience he has here, and yet the two boys blew his doors off on that run to the first corner. But Boesel took the outside line away from Lyondike, and he was spectacular in these opening laps. There's no other way to say it. He was spectacular, Robert.
He was. What I front before we get too far away is, we talked before the start about everybody worried about the first lap and everything. Here's Jim Crawford spinning and regaining control. Did a nice job both times he spun today. But
he actually came around, and there's a quick look at his tires, but got it right back in the race after they got new rubber on them.
Everybody was so concerned about the first lap, and if you tell race drivers, you got a problem, you got a problem, you got a problem, they usually overcome it, and everybody was so cautious that it was a real clean first.
Now, during that pit stop for Jim Crawford, Raul Boesel comes in, and this is why he got his first of 2 stop-and-go penalties on the day. He passed Mario Andretti and was not allowed to, under the USAC rules for this race, in the pit lane. And this was the reaction of Dick Simon immediately following the stop-and-go penalty in today's race.
Passing in the pits is not passing on a yellow. You have cars stopping and starting in the pits. Some of them slowing down, some of them speeding up. For hell's sakes, that's not illegal. What the hell are they doing?
Wow. Then Big Al took the lead. And what a tremendous drive by car number 80 today.
It really was, and you know, at this stage, everybody in the grandstand was on their feet cheering Big Al because he had come from so far back on the grid, and he has struggled with this car all month long, and yet on race day, as he's done so many times in the past, he manages somehow to drag his car to the front of the field.
There's Danny Sullivan. If you had first out in the race car number 7 in your office pool, you won. He finished 33rd, I believe the 9th driver to be a winner, and then finished 33rd in the race. Obviously, a very disappointed Molson crew talked about Danny's problems.
Well, Danny came over the radio, said once he got him up behind the traffic, the front end just washed out on him. The air coming up the cars he was behind just took the downforce away in his front end. He hit the front just gave up and hit the wall.
Were you battling this from the outset, or was it something that developed?
No, it started right from the outset. We were trying, at the first stop, we tried to cure a little more wing and new tires, but it wasn't enough. He got going, he gained a few miles per hour, but wasn't enough to fix the problem.
Robin, part of the suspension bar came all the way through Sullivan's car.
I mean, it's so lucky that his legs were up. I mean, with all the safe months this has been, there was a case that could have really turned bad.
Nigel Mansell running third here actually passes Emo, and a very strong race. We heard Emo tell us live just a couple of minutes ago he was struggling early, and this is an example of that.
And this is what we spoke about earlier, this three abreast slipstreaming down this straight, but the passes have to be made before you get into the corner where we see the cars here. So that was the key to today's race, getting your overtaking maneuvers done before you get to the corner, because you'll see later some of them that didn't get it done before the corner got into big trouble.
Now, very interesting day for the Dick Simon racing team. This was their best 500 ever. They had 5 cars in the show. As you just saw, Raul Boisel, the first person ever associated with Dick Simon to lead the race at the Indianapolis 500. Obviously a top 5 finish. But if you think Simon and driver Raul Boisel are happy, think again. Several things have happened since the end of the race. Jim Shella joins the Sports 8 team with a report that could only be titled, "He was robbed."
Raul Boisel dove into the lead from the outside of row 1 on the first lap, doing something his car owner, Dick Simon, had never done in his own career as an Indy driver. Fast forward to lap 200. The number 9 car finishes 4th, but both Simon and Boisel are saying they won the 500.
So I think they took the race from us. That's it.
You think you should have won the race?
Yes.
The way they see it, race officials did them wrong 3 ways. First, on lap 17, Boisel, still in the lead, pits on a yellow. USAC observers say he broke the 100-mile-an-hour pit speed limit. 6 laps later, Boisel performs a mandatory stop-and-go penalty.
What the hell are they doing?
As a result, Boisel falls a lap down all the way to 23rd. He works his way back near the lead when, on lap 169, there's a yellow light for Robbie Gordon's toe-in. At the time, Boisel is headed for the pits. USAC observers signal another penalty for entering a closed pit area. Stop and go, lap 171.
If they try to turn to go out, they can hit the wall. The only way. Well, he was already in the pit when it went yellow, for Christ's sake.
Right.
All right? So he should be entitled to stop. But nobody told us to wave him through.
Finally, Simon says, the 3 cars that finished in front of Boisel all passed on a yellow and didn't get caught.
The race is ours. You know, they penalized us both times with no reason right now.
Somebody's out to get you?
No. I think that everybody's honest and straightforward, and it's just an honest mistake.
One thing is indisputable: when Raul Boisel was on the track running, he was going faster than anyone else. It took until lap 197 for winner and fellow Brazilian Emerson Fittipaldi to run a single lap faster than Boisel. But throughout the day, number 9 speeds were consistently quicker. It's no consolation. Jim Shella, first to the finish.
Well, as you might expect, Dick Simon has filed a protest with USAC, and the race is not official until 6 hours after the finish, so we're about an hour or 2 away from that. And Derek, this is an interesting situation that's presented here. We've got championship drivers, the world's best, and yet there are gray areas in the rules.
And we're in the biggest race in the world, and you can see by Boisel's emotional outburst that he knows he could have won this race. He had one of the fastest cars here, but one of the stop and goes was this 100-mile-an-hour speed limit in the pit lane. They don't have speedometers. They have to guess that they're under 100 miles an hour. That shouldn't be the situation. I would like to see a radar gun with a display mounted so the driver says, I am over the speed limit, and another one, and if he goes by 2, then he gets black flagged. You can't just hope that you're under 100 miles an hour.
Robin, in all the years in the Speedway, this is the first time there's been a speed limit in the pits.
Yeah, they enforced it at Long Beach, as Derek knows, and Scott Goodyear got caught up in it a couple times. It's a good idea for safety purposes to have a speed limit, but you hate to see somebody that ran such a great race get deprived of maybe a victory by something as you know, as nitpicky as that is.
50 laps into the 77th running of the Indianapolis 500. These are your leaders. We'll have the second 50 coming up next.
Snookums, I want your home cooking. Got it. No, I want the new home cooking dinners. Delicious Big Boy, delicious bone and grilled ham steak, tasty meatloaf like Mom used to make.
Just like Mom.
No, I want a new home cooking dinner with the soup, salad, and fruit bar. Tender, juicy pot roast, meaty mini spare ribs. I want Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Get him off me.
On May 24th, 1992, the top 3 finishers at the Indianapolis 500, including the winner, Al Unser Jr., all used one particular brand of motor oil. Was it coincidence? No. It was Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And now the only thing going faster than an Indy car is a case of quality Valvoline motor oil. Because when you buy a case, you'll save $2.40. It's the Valvoline Indy Winter Sale.
It has a powerful overhead valve engine, smooth 5-speed transmission, the best resale value of any make, and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The cost, just $1,999. It's the John Deere 12.5 horsepower STX 38 long tractor at $19.99. It's our lowest price ever.
See David at Farmer's Tractor and Implement in Rushville, Tom at Harper Implement Company in Swayze, or Herman or Bill at H&J Lawn and Garden Equipment in Carmel.
When you stop at Mr. D, you're the one we're determined to please. We determine every day to please you in every way.
Nature's Best Deluxe Turkey Breast, $1.99. Ruffles potato chips, 2 for $3. And half gallons of Prairie Farms ice cream, 2 for $3 with coupon.
At Mr. D's, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Determined to please.
Mario Andretti got hopes up of his fans who have been suffering since 1969 that this may be his day. As we got into lap number 51, car number 6, what came out on the side, was in the lead, and he was just running terrific at that point, Derek.
He was. I mean, he looked, exceptionally smooth, fast, didn't have to take too many chances. And then, of course, his teammate, Nigel Mansell, put this great move at the end of the back straight. Watch what happens here. Look, Mario comes down. Doesn't let him get through there, but now Mansell has the run. See, he's dropped back a little bit, has a run on him, and coming off forward, he gets that all-important slingshot.
At this point, it looked like Mansell had learned quite a lot about the Speedway.
Yeah, here it is here. Now look, Mario blocks him a little bit. He's entitled to do that. Now watch what Mansell does here, look. Side by side. Now look, Mario squeezes him down, and Mansell still gets through.
They say he's a courageous driver, and it's moved like that, and we have another coming up later in the race that we really never seen at the Brickyard.
Mansell always gives 100%. That is the type of racing you will see all through the year here. But this here is something we didn't want to see too much of today, and it's Jim Crawford again getting away with another spin. How do you get away with one spin and not hit anything at the Speedway? Never mind, do it twice.
We've talked about that all month, the number of spins that don't end up in the fence. That was on lap 88, and a flurry of pit stops followed, including Mario Andretti.
Nice clean run in here by Mario. See, he gets a drink. In these long races, you do want a nice bit of refreshment during the pit stop. Now, the fuel, as you can see, is the longest time taker here. All the tire guys are finished, and they still put fuel in.
Did the drivers come out squirrelier this year than in years past? I never remember the back ends going out that quickly.
I just think now the engines are more controllable than the huge turbocharger boost of the years past, because the engine is managed so much more. So they don't mind getting some wheel spin, because they can actually modulate the throttle and get it sideways and know that it actually won't slip away from him.
On the yellow, this is where Nigel Mansell comes into pit and proves his inexperience as he overshoots it, Derek.
Overshoots it, and now look here. Here's a bit of an indecision. He doesn't know whether to continue on, because in Formula One, if you overshoot your pits, you must go round again and back in. There's a little indecision, a little hesitation, and of course you see here his crew pushes him right back into position.
A crucial amount of time. He lost this race by 4 seconds. With a clean pit stop there, does he win? Is it too easy to say that?
Well, he did say afterwards that he believes the two things that cost him the race was, one of them was this pit stop here. I'm not so sure as the race unfolded that this actually made much of a difference, but it could in future races.
Unbelievable action in the pit. How they can keep track of everybody that's in there going over 100 miles an hour, passing illegally, is beyond me. Now, John Andretti here had a less than effective pit stop from the A.J. Foyt team, and it's just kind of weird to see A.J. on the sideline.
Here he is here, look. He's the boss controlling everything that goes on, and I don't think he's that impressed with what was going on there. In fact, you can hear him.
AJ. Well, coming up, the first incident of the day that caused drivers to leave the race. Scott Brayton and Paul Tracy coming into the curve, as we're about to see, and in this seemed to be the first example of what the drivers were afraid of the entire month.
This is Scott Brayton and Paul Tracy trying to use the same piece of road, and Tracy doesn't get the pass made when he goes down underneath him, loses it, and slams the outside wall.
Yeah, he told me on the radio, he said he was down under Scott Brayton, and Scott moved over on him. He had to cut down, I guess, on the shoulder and lost control of the car. I haven't been able to see it on television, but I'm sure you can see it there.
And then Paul Tracy tells Scott as he goes by here, hey, big fella, I'm just fine. I'm sure that's what he's saying, isn't it, Derek?
Well, when he looks at the videotape, he's not going to have much beef against Scott Brayton because he was not sideways. He was not beside Brayton. So I don't think he had the pass made, and he should have known that it's the end of the straight. You need to be clear, or else you're going to get in trouble like we saw.
Very similar situation happens in just a few laps. We're going to show you that and have more coming up next on this special edition of Speedway Today. First at the finish, you saw the winner first on Wish TV.
How much gasoline does your car waste? Dirty intake valves and fuel injectors can hurt your car's fuel economy. Over the average life of a car, that's precious gallons of wasted gasoline. But now there's new Formula Shell. All three grades reduce harmful engine deposits other gasolines can leave behind to help your car and your budget run at peak efficiency. Formula Shell, the cleanest reason yet to go with the world's best-selling gasoline. Shell, miles ahead.
Sometimes a prescription needs a little explanation. Where do you turn for the information that's not on the label? For advice you can trust. If you have a worry, if you have a question, your Osco pharmacist has the answers and all the time you need.
At Osco, you can count on people who care. Living, loving, building, growing, hometown proud America.
Schwab's IGA offers values like Prairie Farms fruit drink, 69 cents a gallon. Lots of Pop, 24-pack, $2.99. And Frito-Lay's Ruffles or Lay's potato chips, 2 for $3. Schwab's has 7 convenient locations to serve you, and we are hometown proud.
Hometown proud America, IGA.
It's May in Indianapolis, and they're on it. So when you get to the track, expect the unexpected. Track Attack. Wish TV gives you the inside track on winning a family vacation for 4 to Universal Studios, Florida. You'll experience the thrill of the ride. Jaws. You'll fly U.S. Air, the official airline of Universal Studios, Florida, and stay at the Twin Towers Hotel. Entries available at Central Indiana Osco Drug and H.H. Gregg locations. But hurry before it's too late.
Back on First on the Finish at Wish TV, and Derek Daly joins me now as we're live in the Team Patrick Executive Suites at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we're halfway through the race, Derek, and as we look back, really amazing the attrition rate today. Has to be one of the lowest in years. Only 4 cars were out of the race at the halfway point.
That's right, and of course, as the race unfolded, more and more people began to come to the front, making a realistic chance or a legitimate attempt to lead, not only lead the race, but actually win the race.
This was the point where Al Unser Jr. made his run as we pick up the 101st lap of the race. Mario Andretti is leading. Little Al second and Arie Luyendyk third, and then Nigel Mansell started battling Little Al.
I'm sure at this stage Mario thought maybe his day has arrived again because he seemed to have the consistent speed that particularly when he ran by himself, he could actually pull away that nice cushion that you need and let the second and third place cars fight among themselves and get themselves caught in traffic.
Mario had built up a 16-second lead over Al Unser Jr., and then Mario's teammate Mansell starts doing battle on the backside of Al Jr.
And of course, then we had this incident here where Guerrero tried to come down the inside of Jeff Andretti. He didn't make it, got the car sideways and carried Jeff Andretti into the wall very hard. No injuries here. They were both taken to the hospital. Guerrero had bruises, but you see it here again. Guerrero's lost control. Now he touches Jeff Andretti right here, and now Jeff goes for a ride here also. Again, the pass was not made before they got to the turn-in point at the corner.
Jeff Andretti and Roberto Guerrero at the hospital. Unlike last year, a very positive report.
Jeff Andretti and Roberto Guerrero will be released from here in a few minutes. They're both in good condition. Roberto Guerrero suffered a bruise to his left shoulder and his right knee, and Jeff Andretti is uninjured.
Then a controversial point in the race when Mario Andretti got a stop-and-go penalty under the yellow.
Well, that's, again, you're right, a controversial situation. I don't believe that if you give somebody a penalty, it should be able to be taken under yellow flag situations. I mean, what's a penalty for except to be a hindrance or a hazard to you and your progress? So, I mean, he took it under yellow, which was a difficult one for me to fully understand.
Al Unser Jr. took the lead out of that accident at lap 138. 11 different leaders that made in the race so far. That was a new record, breaking the old of 10. 27 cars still in the race. And on lap 146, Emerson Fittipaldi begins to make his move as he passed Scotty Brayton to go from 5th place to 4th place. Just an incredible amount of racing going on, especially at lap 149 as Mario starts chasing down Little Al.
This is Emerson here chasing Scott Brayton, another man who had a tremendous run. He got involved with an incident we saw with Tracy. He had an earlier incident with Tracy that lost Brayton 4 places, but you can see Emerson here. He's beginning to catch and slowly attack and move and has confidence in the car. He sat back for about 400 miles, and then he came on like gangbusters.
These were the 16 laps that Al Unser Jr. was leading. Again, the 11th leader of the race, and Al Unser Jr. had it going at that particular time, but the sun wasn't going to shine for the second consecutive year on the Indy 500 winner from a year ago, and as they went into lap number 150, Mario is certainly making a charge. Vince Welch joins us now from the beautiful Patrick Executive Suites, which we haven't seen all month, but the weather kind of got us in here, Vince. But you had a lot of fun watching Al Jr. today.
Busy day, and his crew was busy because it was a tough afternoon for Little Al. But you may recall there hasn't been a repeat winner at Indianapolis since Big Al Unser did it back in 70 and 71. But today, Little Al made his bid to repeat.
This May, like last, not many were picking Al Unser Jr. to beat the field at Indianapolis, but he tried his best to pull off a second consecutive surprise.
To win the race, you've got to get the brakes. Little Al did not get that this afternoon on lap 127. He came in for a pit stop under the green. As soon as he left, the yellow came out for a Roberto Guerrero Jeff Andretti accident.
Valuable time and position is lost when stopping under the green, especially when the rest of the field pull in under yellow. It happened a second time on lap 164. Little Al gets in and out in less than 17 seconds, but a lap later, the yellow returns for a Robbie Gordon toe-in.
That really killed us at that point because we had worked our way up to the front, and traffic is really extremely bad, and so you had to really work hard to get there.
There was also rubber trouble for Unser. The 92 champ ran much smoother on new tires, but his crew used its 2 sets early, leaving them to scurry to ousted teams and Goodyear for the new stickers.
And they were much better as far as rear end grip because I was fighting a real big loose, and that pretty much fixed it.
He stayed in the top 10 all day, led 17 laps for an extra 17 grand in prize money, and kept them honest until the end.
This is the second time I've ever completed 500 miles at Indy, so, a top 8 finish is pretty good being on the lead lap.
Vince Welch, first to the finish.
Vince, only the second time he finished 500 miles. He looked a lot more tired this year than last.
Al is just one of the drivers that told us about the fatigue. They had to fight it all day, especially in the dirty air when they're behind another car, and it was just a real struggle handling-wise and physically. Just about every driver we spoke to after the race mentioned the demand on them physically.
And of course, it's the concentration level that physically drains you, mentally drains you. That is the biggest, as opposed to actually physical effort driving these cars.
There's no way you can fall asleep at the wheel anytime in a race like this, but with the changing of the track, it was even more important.
Yeah, I don't want to say spooky, but it's almost a spooky feel when a driver doesn't have the confidence in the car that he knows exactly where it's going to go when he points it down into the corner. That's one of the main things they battled, which gave the drivers that uncomfortable feel as these laps unfolded.
All right, we're done with 150 laps in the Indianapolis 500. These were the standings as we go to the break.
Yo, Bob here.
Bob, we know you secretly crave bacon.
Who's this? The bacon police?
No, Bob, this is White Castle calling to whet your appetite for our new bacon cheeseburger.
Oh, I was afraid you'd say that.
Picture a White Castle, Bob.
Got it?
Now picture it with cheese and 2 strips of bacon.
Wow.
And at only 69 cents, Bob.
It's a steal.
Taste the sizzle. Try White Castle's new 69-cent bacon cheeseburger.
White Castle.
Seeing more than one doctor or taking more than one medication, you need to be aware of potential drug interactions. OSCO can help. Our computer alerts your OSCO pharmacist so we can discuss it with your doctor whenever there's a possible drug interaction. Count on OSCO.
At OSCO, you can count on people who care.
Remember what it looked like when you first got it? Hey, what's it look like now? If you've lost that new car feeling, bring it back with Z-Bark Tidy Car Detailing. Bring back that new car freshness and showroom shine with a deep cleaning you can't do yourself or get anywhere else. It's a great feeling.
Renew the inside of your car with interior detailing, just $69. Or restore its original look with exterior detailing, just $79.
Get that Z-Bark Tidy Car look.
We are in the white pages.
We're back on this special edition of Speedway today. Vince Welch, along with Derek Daly and Mark Patrick. And what are your thoughts, Derek, as we're 150 laps into the race? Mario is on the verge of taking over again.
Looks good, looks strong, but again, Fittipaldi was there, almost in the shadow of everybody, waiting for the right time to come to make a move. I mean, he just had that presence all day. That no matter who led, you look back to that Penske car to see where he was.
And how typical as we take a look at lap 150 when Mario makes his move past Little Al. I was going to say how typical of a Penske team member, just like Rick Mears used to win the races in Indy, by waiting and making his move late.
And that is experience. Here's another great slipstream here. Mario tucks right under the rear wing of Al Jr. Now they're side by side. Now look at this. See, the pass is made before he gets into the turn. That is the key to being reliable and successful and staying off the wall here.
Al Unser Sr. was third at this point, and then came a very important time, Vince, for Al Jr.
He comes in and a very quick pit stop here, and it enables him to get out quickly and be right back in the thick of things. But then I believe the yellow comes up right thereafter, so he missed an opportunity to pit under the yellow. And of course, anytime you pit under the green and then the yellow follows it up, you're going to lose some position.
And the biorhythms weren't right for the Unser family at this point in the race, although Little Al got the terrific pit stop. The yellow was going to follow, and immediately following this, Big Al had trouble in his pit, stalling, losing several seconds, and that caused him to drop from 3rd place to 11th almost immediately.
We just saw there, that's where his race began to slip away from his grasp, even though he's on brand new sticker tires there. When you spend 5 or 6 critical seconds in the pits, you are building trouble for yourself.
Now this is Mario pitting just before the yellow, and there was controversy on this, whether he pitted before the yellow or during the yellow, and he was assessed a stop-and-go penalty during the yellow a little later.
Well, the problem was, as he drove down the pit lane, the yellow flashing light on his right side did come on, but obviously what he was looking for was the pit closed board, which directly faces the driver, in fact, was not out. So he took it that the pit lane was open. Unfortunately, he didn't get away with it.
At the end of the day, for Robbie Gordon, who is being towed into the pits by one of the more efficient Speedway vehicles. And then there's Al Jr. with a quick splash of fuel. And this is at lap 172, so he had enough fuel at this point to finish the race. Unfortunately, it was exactly this point that the tires started going away for Al.
You see another stop and go here for Buzzell. This is one of the frustrations that haunted Buzzell all through this race.
Number one, nobody told us to send him through. When he was committed and came in the pit, nobody told us to send him through. Nobody. So they penalized him for stopping on the yellow. He was already in the pit when it went yellow, for Christ's sake.
Right.
All right? So he should be entitled to stop. But nobody told us to wave him through. That's the first one. The second one was basically when earlier, I mean, they said that he was too fast. He watched the speed limit, never was he over 100. So where they come up with that is beyond him. And second, when Stephan got passed by the three guys in front of him for the lead, they blew by him under the yellow, and I heard it over USAC. I monitor USAC. And they named the three guys that went by under the yellow. They never corrected that situation.
You think you should have won the race?
Yes.
You think you were penalized unfairly?
Not once, twice. Twice.
Second time you were in the pits.
Second time I was in the pits. First time I wasn't over the limit. Where I was over the limit. I couldn't get past 100 even if I stand here. You know, they must mistake for somebody else. I didn't went over the limit. And I didn't, when they was the yellow, I already come in the pits.
You were in the pits.
What should I want me to do?
Again, Raul Boisel and Dick Simon have protested that, and we could have word before the end of the show on what USAC decides on their official posting of the finish of the race. It's not going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning as it usually is. They moved it to 6 hours after the race. This is Lynn St. James leading the race. Again, not a bad race for Lynn as she gets the yellow for the toe. Nigel Mansell had just blown by Emo and Ari to take the lead in the standings at that point. Mansell, Emo, Ari, Raul, and Mario Andretti had dropped to fifth. And on the green, the move that won the race.
And that was a scary move there because Mansell got eaten alive by Emerson, but Lyondike made a move to the outside, almost looked as if he hesitated, car wobbled a little bit, and then he went ahead and made the move, a superb move by Lyondike, and that really determined the outcome of the race right there.
And it really gave determination to Nigel Mansell, who then brushed the wall, and I call it a brush, but at 215 miles an hour, Derek, you feel it.
Well, I wouldn't call that a brush. That is a good, solid smack. He's lucky, though, that he hit front and rear wheels together at the same time. Otherwise, Mansell was in serious trouble.
You talk about perfect positioning, though. It caused a bunch up under the yellow. For the last 8 laps, they were going to run green, but Emerson Fittipaldi got on the throttle, running the first lap out of green at 2:12.469. Lap 197, fastest of the race so far at 2:14 plus, and 198, the fastest of the day, 2:14.807. His car was on it for the checkered flag.
On this final run, it just never looked as if anybody was going to threaten Emerson and take this important win away. I think Roger Penske looks very worried there, but Emerson was in total control. He knew he was able to edge away. You can see the lead he has there with a couple of laps to go. Emerson looked unbeatable at this stage.
When you look at Emerson Fittipaldi getting the checkered flag, how much of it was Emerson Fittipaldi today? How much of it was his Chevrolet C engine and the Penske chassis?
Well, there's no doubt it takes a package to be successful. There is no point coming here with the best car and engine if you don't have one of the best drivers in the world to drive that car. And the same goes if you have a good driver in a bad car. You need the package. There is no magic to racing. You just need the package, the budget, and the equipment, and then you just need organization.
Formula F1 champion, of course, a winner for the second time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Emerson Fittipaldi. The other who's been getting so much attention is a rookie at the Speedway, certainly not from the Formula 1 circuit, reigning world champion Nigel Mansell. Dick Ray has the story on his somewhat disappointing day.
It was certainly a most impressive debut for Indy rookie Nigel Mansell, rivaling that of another Formula 1 great that came here to the Brickyard in 1963. Like Jimmy Clark, Nigel Mansell was able to lead the Indy 500 in his initial appearance, but in the end it was some rookie hesitation that cost him the victory. After building an 11-second lead over teammate Mario Andretti near the midway point, the reigning F1 champ had some problems finding his pits.
You know, the car stayed together and the team did a great job, and the only mistakes all day were mine.
Normally a costly mistake, but under the yellow, Mansell could keep his sights on the leaders. With 100 miles to go in the race, Mansell was in position to become the first rookie to win since Graham Hill in 1966. But experience ultimately would win out. On the critical restart with 15 laps to go, it's Emerson Fittipaldi showing him the way.
These restarts, I've never done restarts before in my life. The first restarts I've done was today. It's the first oval I've ever driven as well. And, you know, I'm green around the ears. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, you know, these guys out there just know how to call the tune when it is, and they got the jump. And, you know, I'm waiting to be legal and be within the rules, and they're already on the gas 2-3 seconds before me.
He flirted with disaster on several occasions, but all in all, Nigel Mansell leaves the Brickyard feeling very uplifted after his third-place performance.
After hitting that wall, I mean, I didn't think I was going to finish, and that would have upset me. And, you know, for the car to come home after hitting the wall at 200 plus, I mean, I'm impressed.
Wow. I'm impressed with himself.
Yeah, I'm pleased that he actually did get away with that, because very often you bend a suspension, and if you don't see it or feel it's broken, you charge off to the next corner, and then you do flirt with disaster. But I think Mansell was superb today. I mean, some of the moves he made, and he says himself, he's a total rookie. There was some things he fell into because he's never here before. I think he had a great day.
Highest finishing rookie of the year?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a vote. Maybe he will be. Maybe that's what determines it.
Well, I voted for Nigel Mansell because he did finish third and he drove a terrific race. He was the highest finishing rookie and the first to complete 500 miles, not to be running at the end the way Len St. James was a year ago, but to actually complete 500 miles since 1970 when Donnie Allison did it as a rookie and finished fourth.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good day. I think when he goes home to the hotel room tonight, he will replay that start in his mind, because that cost him an Indianapolis 500 win, I think.
How about the showing of the other rookies in the race today?
Johansson is somebody that we thought would be very fast. Obviously, they didn't get the settings of that car right, because remember, he is in the same Penske chassis that Emerson Fittipaldi had. He didn't show that well. Gregoire had a nice, reliable, good run. I mean, didn't run at the front, but we didn't expect him to run at the front. Nelson Piquet, of course, was out early with a blown engine.
All right, stay with us. More to come on Speedway Today, our special edition. Emerson Fittipaldi wins for the second time. 9 wins in the last 25 years at the Speedway for Roger Penske's racing team.
On May 24th, 1992, the top 3 finishers at the Indianapolis 500, including the winner, Al Unser Jr., all used one particular brand of motor oil. Was it coincidence? No. It was Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And now the only thing going faster than an Indy car is a case of quality Valvoline motor oil. Because when you buy a case, you'll save $2.40. It's the Valvoline Indy Winter Sale.
Don't miss the one-day-only Memorial Day sale at today's Bedroom One. Every bed, every bedroom group is on sale at our lowest sale prices. Buy any bedroom group or youth group and get an additional 10% off. Inner spring mattresses are here and on sale, with twin size starting at $49 and queen sets as low as $199. Everything's on sale during the one-day-only Memorial Day sale at today's Bedroom One.
Today's Bedroom One.
Don't miss this sale.
With PMS, even little things set me off. I get bad headaches, and I feel bloated. But Preemson helps a lot. Preemson it's my weapon against PMS.
Preemson PMS for the period before your period.
Arthritis, tendonitis, back pain. Cool it, heat it with Icy Hot. Icy to dull the pain, hot to relax it away. Fast-acting Icy Hot, icy and hot therapy for pain.
Does it go when you give it the gas? Good acceleration is vital. But if gasoline leaves deposits on your intake valves, acceleration can bog down. That's why we're introducing Formula Shell, Shell's cleanest gasoline ever. All three grades reduce harmful deposits other gasolines can leave behind to help you get the acceleration you need when you need it. A powerful reason to go with the best-selling gasoline in the world. Shell. Miles ahead.
Welcome back to this special edition of Speedway Today. First at the finish, we showed you the finish first on Wish TV. Vince Welch, Derek Daly joined me from the Team Patrick Executive Suites live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Vince, you were down in the pits for the entire race, and so much controversy about the stop-and-go penalties. Did people in the pits, did the crews themselves know what was going on?
Interesting that you asked that, Mark, because a lot of the crews that I talked to were having radio problems of one sort or another. Either USAC was coming in or out of their ear. At several occasions, and a couple of different crews I talked to, ABC's broadcast was interrupting their signal. So there was a little bit of confusion there, even through the radios, and that's their way of communication. Talked to Willie Ribb's crew. Of course, he wasn't a factor as far as winning the race, but Willie had no audio or communication with his crew for a portion of the race. So, and that's obviously a very important factor.
We're awaiting a decision by USAC on the actual protest of the race by Raul Boisel and his owner, Dick Simon. Let's take a look, Derek, at the incidences that we talked about, the stop-and-go penalties for both Mario Andretti first and then Raul Boisel.
This is such a frustrating situation for a driver, particularly Mario, who's been here so often in the past. He knows he has a car that could win this race, and he has to contend with what he would call a petty penalty of a stop and go. And then, of course, it falls into Boisel's lap to do the same thing.
Well, Tom Benford just stresses so much for the penalty to meet what he feels is the crime, for them to be an even agenda. And how do you do that without human nature getting involved? My favorite story of the day, though, had to be Emerson in the victory circle handed the traditional jug of milk and saying, is fantastic, but I think I'll drink juice. And he finally took a drink of the milk after turning it away 3 different occasions, but he still was going for the juice.
Of course, Emerson, we have to tell you why. He's an orange juice manufacturer from Brazil.
And he got 10 grand from the American Dairy Association there, and they were so excited that they tripped up our cord.
50 grand from the Brazilian Orange Juice Association.
You think?
Probably.
Unbelievable.
Got rich today.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break and come down with the unofficial results. They're not official in just about an hour and a half from now. It's always been 8 a.m. on Monday morning in the past, but this year they've moved it up.
Sometimes a prescription needs a little explanation. Where do you turn for the information that's not on the label? For advice you can trust. If you have a worry, if you have a question, your Osco pharmacist has the answers and all the time you need.
At Osco, you can count on people who care.
When you stop at Mr. D, you're the one we're determined to please. We determine every day to please you in every way.
2 12-pack or 1 24-count case of Pepsi Cola, $4.99. Buttocks thin sliced meats, 2 for $1.09. And whole or half Dubuque boneless hams, $1.49 a pound.
At Mr. D's, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Determined to please. It's hot, and you need a pool. And Watson's has special summer sale prices now. Save up to 50% on above-ground pools, spas, and tanning beds. Sunmaster 15-foot pools now only $5.99. Big 24-foot only $7.99. Complete pool packages, filter, skimmer, ladder, and vacuum. Nobody beats Watson's, and that includes spas and hot tubs. Choose from a Watson's manufactured spa for only $16.99. Or the very best, the Dimension 1 spas. A large selection of patio furniture at sale prices. That's Watson's.
The Indianapolis 500, first at the finish, has been sponsored by Shell, Burrow, by Osco Drug, and by Valvoline.
Vince Welch, Derek Daly, Mark Patrick, and you back on First at the Finish. Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. As we mentioned, they won't be official until about an hour and a half from now when USAC posts them. And there you have it, Emerson Fittipaldi with a very fast average speed today. Very safe race, 157.207 miles an hour. Lyondike in second. A pretty quiet second there.
A quiet second. He believed he could have won this race. He got in trouble in the middle of this race with the handling of the car, began to change tires, and luckily they put a new set of sticker tires on for the last run, and that was the magical combination that he needed.
Nigel Mansell, obviously the favorite for the Bank One Rookie of the Year. We'll have that announcement for you tomorrow night at 5:45 with Vince Welch on Wish TV News 8. Raul Boisel in fourth place and easily the most controversial driver of the day.
Fastest at the start. It took him over 100 laps to make up that one lap that he lost from both of his penalties. 100 laps.
And he had the fastest laps of the day until Emo turned those very quick 2:14s on lap 197 and 198. And another disappointing day for Mario.
Mario won't be here forever. It's such a shame that he didn't have a strong run all the way to the end. But hey, this is the Indy 500. It's hard to win this one.
And honest to goodness, if Scott Brayton hadn't been involved in that accident, Vince, I don't think we would have heard his name all day.
Well, and 8 guys, I believe, finished 500 miles today. And although you didn't hear much about Scott Brayton or Scott Goodyear or Al Unser Jr., of course, led for several laps, but they all felt as though they had a legitimate shot at winning the race, and maybe a break here or there, it could have gone differently.
I think Scott Goodyear was also probably disappointed today.
Disappointed. Just missed the handling by just a little bit, kept him out of the picture all day. But look at Teo Fabi there, finished 9th. He ran 2nd at one stage before he began to lose a handle on the handling of his car.
Al Unser Jr., we mentioned, led 16 laps today before his car completely went away from him. Teo Fabi ran as high as 2nd early in the race.
He did, and then he got very quiet. Again, it's down to handling of the car. You depend so much on the tires that go on it. If they're good, you go fast. If they're bad, you struggle.
And then in 10th place, John Andretti.
How about a month for John Andretti? He comes to Indianapolis without a ride and ends up finishing 10th in the Indianapolis 500. And although obviously he would like to have finished higher, at least he was in the field, and a good ride for A.J. Foyt.
Stefan Johansson, the second highest finishing rookie, in 11th place. Al Unser was 12th. Jimmy Vasser, 13th. Kevin Cogan started 14th and finished in the same place. And Davy Jones finished 15th. We've had a terrific month of May at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We were very glad that you were a part of it. I want to say a special thank you to all the production team here, our camera people, and everyone involved from Wish TV in helping us look very good. For Dick Ray, my good buddy Vince Welch, a great job, you, Derek Daly, and Robin Miller. We'll see you next May on Speedway Today. Good night.
From Wish TV, Channel 8, this is Indiana's own 24-hour news service.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Ben Wood. Some severe thunderstorms rumbling across eastern Indiana right now. In fact, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:10 for Delaware and Henry counties. Let's check Doppler.